Imagine this. You wake up in the morning, no incoming chat notifications, no plans to hang out, just you, your room, and your little world. Sounds peaceful, right? But behind that calm, sometimes there's a feeling, a mix of emotions. Like you're comfortable being alone, but then you also wonder, am I shutting myself off too much? If this hits home, you're not alone. This time, I want to take you into a world that not everyone gets, the everyday life of an introvert. Because let's be real, being an introvert is so often misunderstood. People think we're antisocial or lonely, but honestly, that's not always the case. I'm not here to throw theories about introverts at you. Instead, I want to share what it actually feels like to live day to day as someone who finds more comfort in their own mind than in the noise of the outside world. So, whether you're an introvert yourself or you have friends or family who are, grab a comfy spot, take a deep breath, and let's dive into this story together. If this is the kind of topic you've been searching for, listen closely. We're gonna deep dive together. It's me, here with Stories Before Bed, keeping you company with a story I hope truly means something. For an introvert, mornings hold a special kind of magic. It's usually the quietest time of the day. You wake up, glance out the window at the sky, and feel the cool morning air. There's no noise, no interactions draining your energy. For most people, it might just be another routine. But for an introvert, mornings are a moment to recharge before stepping into the outside world. Maybe you start your day with simple things that bring you peace, like making a cup of coffee while listening to your favorite playlist, or opening that book you've been meaning to read. For an introvert, moments like these are more than just tasks. They're a way to refill your energy tank and prepare yourself for whatever the day might throw at you. And often, in the stillness of the morning, your mind starts to wander. You reflect on your dreams, the little things you're grateful for, or just enjoy the freedom of not having to talk to anyone. Because, you know what? Being an introvert doesn't mean being antisocial. It just means we're more comfortable in the silence, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But yeah, sometimes it comes with its challenges. You realize not everyone understands why you need your alone time. You might hear things like, "Why don't you hang out more?" Or, "You're home too much, aren't you?" And it makes you wonder, am I doing something wrong? But here's the truth. You're not. Everyone has their own way of finding comfort in themselves, and this is yours. That quiet morning isn't about avoiding people. It's about finding a space where you can just be yourself. No pressure, no pretending, no expectations. Just you, exactly as you are. After that peaceful morning, the outside world starts knocking. Notifications flood your phone, the noise outside gets louder, and somehow, there's this tiny flutter of nervousness. Like a sailor about to set sail into uncharted waters, an introvert often feels the need to gather energy before stepping into the outside world. For an introvert, social interactions aren't exactly easy. It's not that we don't like talking or don't care about people. It's more like those interactions are a heavy workout. You need to prep for it, and afterward you're left feeling drained. Maybe you've been in this situation. Your friends invite you out, you say yes, but when the time comes, you catch yourself wondering, am I really ready for this? And when you finally get there, the noise and energy hit you all at once. The overlapping conversations, bursts of laughter, the buzz of everyone around. It's overwhelming. Sure, you might smile, laugh, even join in the talk. But inside, there's this other conversation happening. When can I go home? It's like hyperbole in action, capturing just how exhausting it can be to immerse yourself in a crowd when all your mind wants is a chance to recharge. But here's the thing. Introverts are often misunderstood. People think we dislike others, but it's not that. We just prefer meaningful conversations over small talk. We thrive in calm settings, not chaos. If you've ever felt out of place in a loud, busy room, it's not because you're antisocial. It's because you value depth over quantity. There's this moment I think a lot of us can relate to. You're sitting at a dinner table with friends. Everyone's chatting, laughing, and you're just sitting there quietly, listening. Not because you don't have anything to say, but because you prefer observing. Introverts are like artists painting the world from a unique corner of the room, noticing the things others overlook. And honestly, that's the beauty of being an introvert. That doesn't mean all interactions are hard, though. Sometimes there are these little moments that make it all worth it. A quick, meaningful conversation with someone who just gets you, without needing a lot of words. A moment where you feel completely yourself without fear of judgment. These tiny connections, they're the ones we treasure most. But here's the real challenge. It's not just about facing the noise of the crowd. It's about staying true to yourself in a world that often sets extroversion as the standard. A world that says, you should be more outgoing, or you need to go out more so people don't think you're weird. This puts introverts in a constant dilemma. Do we conform to what the world expects, or do we hold on to who we really are? And let me tell you, staying true to yourself is way more important. The world needs balance, and your quiet, reflective nature, your love for listening and observing, is a crucial part of that balance. So, what can you do when the world outside feels too loud, too overwhelming? Remember, you don't have to adjust yourself to fit in all the time. You have every right to say no when it feels like too much. You have every right to choose environments and people that make you feel truly comfortable. Because at the end of the day, your comfort and your peace matter just as much as anyone else's. After a draining day of social interactions, an introvert usually has one ultimate goal: going home. And I don't just mean physically going home. It's about returning to a space where you can be your true self without any interruptions. For an introvert, coming home is a way to recharge, to refill the energy that's been drained throughout the day. Picture this. You walk into your room, close the door, and suddenly, the world feels quieter. Not the kind of quiet that feels lonely, but the kind that's soothing. In that moment, you can let go of all the weight from the day. No expectations, no small talk, just you and your own thoughts. It's that sacred place where you can finally exhale and think to yourself, finally, I'm alone again. There are so many ways an introvert recharges. Maybe you like sitting in silence, listening to your favorite songs. Not the hype, party playlist, but those deeply meaningful tracks that feel like they're speaking directly to you. Or maybe you love writing, pouring all your thoughts and emotions onto a page. For an introvert, writing isn't just an activity. It's a way to talk without actually having to speak. Sometimes, recharging is as simple as enjoying something you love, uninterrupted. Maybe you re-watch your favorite movie for the 100th time, the one you never get tired of. Or maybe you just sit there with a warm cup of coffee or tea, savoring the small, slow moments without feeling rushed. It's not about what you're doing. It's about giving yourself the space to just be without any external pressure. But then there are times when your mind is still too noisy. You know those moments, right? Even when you're alone, your head is filled with voices. The echoes of earlier conversations, the endless questions, or even that inner critic that just won't stop. In moments like these, it's so important to give those thoughts a space to pass through. Maybe you try meditating, or you simply sit in stillness, focusing on your breathing. You don't have to respond to every thought immediately. Just let them come and go, like clouds drifting across the sky. Here's a simile for you. Your thoughts are like clouds. Sometimes they're thick and heavy, but you know they won't stay forever. They'll eventually pass, and your sky will be clear again. And you know what's beautiful? As you start to recharge, you feel this small, magical shift. You begin to reconnect with yourself. You realize that you don't need validation from the outside world to feel whole. You are enough. You are valuable. And the time you spend alone, it's your way of showing yourself love and care. Recharging isn't just about refueling your energy. It's also about reclaiming your sense of control over your life. The outside world might be loud and chaotic, but in this space, in your solitude, you find a peace that no one can take away. After you recharge, after you return to the full version of yourself, the next challenge is stepping back into the outside world. A world that's often too busy, too fast, and sometimes just doesn't understand how we, as introverts, navigate life. But you know what? Being an introvert isn't a weakness. It's a unique strength that makes you stand out. Have you ever felt insecure because you're not as loud or as outgoing as everyone else? Because you don't always have the energy to be the center of attention in a room? If that sounds familiar, here's something I need you to know. The world doesn't just need people who shine brightly like spotlights. It also needs those who glow softly like candlelight. And that's you. Calm, warm, and bringing peace amidst the chaos. So, how do you stay confident in a world that often feels like it's designed for extroverts? First, stop comparing yourself to others. We're all living at our own pace, in our own way. What looks like success or happiness for someone else doesn't have to be the same for you. If you prefer deep, meaningful conversations over wild parties, that's not a flaw. That's your choice, and it's valid. Second, embrace your uniqueness. As an introvert, you have an incredible ability to truly listen, to understand others on a level most people can't. You create meaningful relationships, not just surface connections. And you know what? The world needs people like you, those who notice the details that others overlook. Third, learn your boundaries and don't be afraid to protect them. The outside world can be demanding, and it's easy to feel like you have to keep up with everyone else or constantly please others. But it's okay to say no. It's okay to choose yourself. At the end of the day, the one person you should prioritize making happy is you. Finally, never stop believing that there's room in this world for every type of personality. You might not always be the loudest voice in the room, but your presence still matters. Being an introvert means you bring depth to a world that often feels too shallow. You're the quiet voice of reason in a sea of noise. And that's something extraordinary. So tonight, before you go to bed, I want you to do one thing. Close your eyes and tell yourself, I am enough. I am valuable. I am the best version of myself. Because as an introvert, you have a unique gift that not everyone else has, and that gift is something this world truly needs. I'll see you in the next bedtime story. May you always find peace in the noise of the world and the courage to stay true to who you are. Good night, and don't forget to dream big. Bye.